in the outdoors today, so it to be an outdoor one. Onegaishimasu. So, down. Side to side. And ear to shoulders. Circles one way. Circles the other way. Arms forward. And arms going back. And the arms front and back. Close. And stretch one side. And stretch the other side. Cross one side. Cross the other side. Open and close. And Sabaki. And tight. Yoho. Tenchi. Yoko. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And time breathing in. Breathing out. Hey. The other side. Ui. Down. So, that's up and forward. Down. And your knees from the back. Knees, circles. Circles the other way. And down, up, down, up, down, up. Time down. Open your toes. Down. Down. Up. Down. Time. Down. Up. And your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And your knees going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Change size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Change sides. Lifting your leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Changing side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Change to the side. Stand hinging your back leg. 1, hinging, touching the floor. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Change. Very important when we hinge, try as much as possible to keep your back straight. I mean, I know that once we go down, our back curves a little bit into position, but try to start and finish at least with your back straight. And from that back as straight as possible, try to do your hinge as opposed to leading with the shoulders. Try to lead with the hips, okay? Not leading with the shoulders, okay? So lead with your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Open your legs. Chigotai. That's out. Elbows out. Pushing your knees out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Grab your toes. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Down. 2, 5, 9, 5. Toes, 9, 5. And again, going down. ki, ko, ki, ko, ki, ko. Open your legs and stretch that out. Put your legs in and move side to side. Coming up, twisting to one side, twisting to the other side. One side, the other side. One side, change, side, change. And down, all the way up, all the way down, and all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. Last one, down, and up. So, all right, this time Funa Kogi. This Nakogi in front, Remember once again, your knee, your hips, and using your hips front and back for engaging your spine, and also with your arms, extending them, but not to the point of hyperextension, keeping a little bit of a curve on your elbows at the end of the movement. Okay, careful to not hyperextend. Okay, so and front. Hey. Yeah, ho, 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 yeah, ho. Down, Urutama. Go. Hey, the other side. In front. Hey, hands in front. Yitsa, 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 yitsa. Go. Hey, okay. So this week we've been trying to focus on Te Sabaki and Ude Sabaki. Okay, so Te Sabaki, the movement of our hands, okay, and Ude Sabaki, the movement of our arms. As Murano Sensei explains it, it's the movement of your hands, the movement of your arms, supported by your Tai Sabaki, or your movement of your hips, the movement of your spine, especially. Okay, so Before we begin with movement, I guess that the important habit is to, in the same way that a good habit is always to have a good hand-me, establish your hand-me clearly since the beginning of your practice, as opposed to have a hand-me that is confused or not very sure. Establish a good hand-me from the very beginning of your practice, a hand-me that you are comfortable with, that you know that you have your weight distributed properly, that one foot is firmly, at the front of the movement, etc. Apart from your hand-me, your second good habit is to lower your hips, okay, to jigotai, together when you do your hand-me, as opposed to being really high in your hand-me. And the third good habit from the very beginning is to activate your hands. That basically means to have your hands, not on a, as Sensei says, not on a fist, but not completely open and not knowing what. Just activate your hands by the sides of your legs and just open your hands. Breathe into it. Okay, so breathing in, breathe out, open your hands and activate your hands. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Yeah. So also a good exercise to kind of visualize, in order to have your entire body functioning and possibly activated, is in the same way that you breathe out through your hands, breathe out through the top of your head, so that fixes your shisei a little bit. Breathe through the front of your hips, so that aligns your center towards, your partner or whatever you are trying to work. And breathe through the bottom of your feet, so that kind of grounds you into position. Okay, so it's almost like you're breathing through your feet, grounds you into the place where you are going to be working on. So now you have a more grounded, stable foot movement. Breathing out through your center kind of basically directs your energy towards the person that is in front of you that you're about to work with. Breathing out in and out towards the top of your head fixes your shisei, reminds you that the energy is going forward, and breathing through your hands activates your hands. So feet, center, top of the head, hands are good places to learn to visualize breathing in and out in order to kind of make sure that all of those things are ready to go for your practice, as opposed to having parts of the body that are not quite awake. Okay, so let's try just that for a couple more times. Remember your feet, your hands, center, and the top of your head. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. In a very recent online seminar that we had, where we had a couple of very, very beginner people, Moreno Sensei basically gave this exercise to those people to begin with, because it's the foundation of our structure and everything that is to come. Okay, so once we have our hands active and alive next to our body, several gestures to take place depending on what are we practicing. We're practicing katate dori, for example, or monote dori. From our heart, our hand comes out and remains equally active. From our hand, goes out and remains equally active. Okay? We use both hands come out. Okay, both hands come out. Okay, so we'll practice with that in a minute. So just practice with one hand, as if it was katate dori or monote dori. Okay, breathing in, breathing out. Once again, one hand is down, active, the other hand is out, and breathing out. Change the side, breathing in, breathing out. Change the side, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, so this is the idea that eventually this Te Sabaki and this UDE Sabaki are linked to our practice of Sen no Sen, where because I am initiating with that movement, my partner has to, I'm not waiting for my partner, but I'm moving to my partner. That senosen eventually has a relationship with my eye, which means I close my eye, not waiting for my partner to close my eye for me. Okay, and eventually all of that has really an impact on my partner, which is kusushi, which is breaking of balance. So this is how eventually all these ideas, these principles that Sensei has given us, eventually they all kind of interweave with each other, right? So correct Kokyu and correct Te Sabaki and Ude Sabaki create, break the Ma'ai, Sen no Sen, that creates Kusushi, and so on. So all the things that we've been trying to study a little bit in the past few weeks. This time, two hands, as if for Ryo Te Kubidori. Okay, so two hands. Side, two hands, Ryo Te Kubidori. Two hands. So, two hands. Same idea, okay? So in this case, for Ryo Te Kubidori, I go two hands, my parents, and then from that position, different movements kind of start to kind of take place each, and then whatever movement comes into practice, regardless of the direction, but begins with me, not waiting, extending my hands and arms, and then proceeding to do whatever movement is going to be required of it. But with that activation of my Te Sabaki and my Ude Sabaki. Okay, so now once we actually start moving in our vectors, in our sideways, linear, frontal, diagonal vectors, etc., which is the movement of our arms, just to remind ourselves a little bit of that, right? So we have our hands, our hand moves from the top down, the basic directions of our arms, from the bottom up, okay, from one side to the other, side, from one diagonal to the other, and same thing, to the other, in a linear fashion and in a round fashion. So you could almost point to those basic 10 vector movements to practice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so just basic set of possible directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that basic set of directions is our vectors that we cover through different techniques. Now, the important thing with those vectors is to progressively engage more fundamental parts of our body. So one common mistake, for example, will be to only engage the shoulder. Oh, let's start before that. Even a mistake before that will be to engage only one joint. For example, the elbow joint, right? For example, like if a shomenuchi was like this. So that is such a poor shomenuchi because it only engages one joint, which is the weak joint on the arm, which is the kind of the elbow joint. So least engaging the shoulder joint will be an advance, a progression between shomenuchi with the elbow joint, shomenuchi with the shoulder joint. Okay, elbow joint, okay, shoulder joint, elbow joint, shoulder joint. Okay, so let's say at least we're moving the shoulder joint, not the elbow joint. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is, okay, we start to use our spine. Sorry, our hips. We start to use my hips together with the shoulder joint. Hips together with the shoulder joint. Hips, okay, together with shoulder joint. And then after my hips, better to use my spine, so with my shoulder joint. So with my shoulder joint. So shoulder, hip, and spine. Okay, so let's say we started in the worst possible scenario would be just the elbow, then we graduate to the shoulder, then we graduate to the hip, then we graduate to using the hip and the spine, okay, as a part of an action. Right? Most basic exercise on this is possibly ikyogogi, for example. Ikyogogi, okay, ikyogogi. So now with ikyogogi, most common way that sometimes we practice is by only engaging, let's say, the shoulders. Ikyogogi. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's only engaging the shoulders. There's possibly a very, very poor way of executing the movement. Then we start engaging the hips. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, that's a progression. That's definitely something, better in terms of movement. But again, we're still not moving the shoulders, the hips, and the spine. Okay, so that's why with sensei, each, 1, 2. So the spine is a fundamental part of the body movement. So shoulder movement, hip movement, spine movement. Those three things are three different movements that ideally have to be all combined in order to do a powerful movement. So let's practice that. Let's practice Ikyogogi. Let's just do it first with the shoulders, then with our hips, and then with our spine, so we can see if we can notice the difference between those three things. So number one, don't move at all, just use your shoulders up and down, okay, for Ikyogogi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, the other side, only the shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's the shoulders. So that's the equivalent of when we only use our shoulders to kind of do techniques. Like the Ikkyos, Iriminagas, etc. It's only the use of the shoulders, which is very poor mechanically. Okay, so now use your hip, with your hip moving forward and backwards. So your hip kind of is powering the movement of the shoulders now, which is a progression on that. Okay, so moving your hips and your hip power your shoulders. Hip power your shoulder. Hip power your shoulders. Okay, so Ikyogogi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change the other side. Movement of the hip, powering the shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so hopefully that was a progression of what we were doing. Hopefully now, because the hips are engaged, the shoulders are engaged, and that the shoulders are following the command of the hips. But still, we are not using our spine. So now, this time, use your spine as part of the movement. Okay, focus also on your spine moving forward together with the movement. Okay, not only your hips, but also your spine, back of your spine, movement, your spine with the movement. Ikyogogi. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so anyways, it's important to know, in the movement of our arms, okay, in the movement of our hands, to know that both hands are always active. We'll talk about the role of each hand in a minute. But activate those hands together with clarify your hanmi, together with lower your hips. Those three very basic habits that we have since the beginning. Clear hanmi, lower hips, active hands. That's very important for all of us, especially beginners, to have those three things embodied as soon as possible. And then when you are moving your arms, just check yourselves. Are you moving your arms, only with small joints, for example, the elbow? Okay, progress to move them with bigger joints, which is the shoulders. Are you moving only with the shoulders? Make sure you engage your hips. Are you moving your shoulders and your hips? Make sure you move your spine with that action. Okay, so that's another progression on how to use our arms, in a more efficient and effective way. Okay, so now the other thing that we practiced during the week was the idea that at all points, it's going to be one hand that leads the movement, one hand that enforces the movement. Okay, so there's going to be one hand that leads the movement, and then one hand that enforces. Okay, one hand that leads the movement, and one hand that enforces. Okay, that's very much part of our somatic training in Aikido, as opposed to having two hands that enforce the movement. And it's good to practice one hand leading the movement, okay, on the other hand enforcing or securing the movement. So one leads the movement, the other one secures or enforces the movement. As we were talking about, those two ideas of leading and enforcing, or leading and securing the movement, are literally like very, yin-yo, very yin-yang in principle. They are not two separated ideas completely. There are two ideas that coexist within each other, that also have the little seed of each other at the same time. So one hand that is leading is not only leading, and it will not just always lead. That hand perpetually has an energy of enforcing, and at some point can immediately change to enforce. So the first challenge is to say, do I have these two energies in my body? Am I, cultivating equally the two energies of leading and securing, or leading and enforcing within my techniques? Number one, because maybe I'm just leading too much. Maybe I'm just leading. It's all just about leading always, which is fine. It's just one extreme of the movement. Maybe I'm all about enforcing. It's all about enforcing the movement, and I'm all about just crushing it and enforcing it. Maybe that would be the other extreme of the movement. Am I cultivating both sides of this equation more or less on equal basis? That's number one question. Number two, if I am aware of that, can I switch from the hand that is leading to also have a little bit of enforcing inside, from the hand that is enforcing, because that also has a little bit of the leading quality inside? That's number two. And number three, can these two switch at command? Can these two, the hand that is leading can suddenly fully enforce, the hand that is enforcing can fully lead? Number three. Okay, so am I aware of these two options? Does these two options have a tiny bit of each other within themselves? And on command, can I switch them? That's the study. That's what we have to do. So in this case, let's practice as if we were in Katatedori Ai-Hanmi. Shoto Tenkan, leading one hand, controlling with the other hand. Katatedori Ai-Hanmi, Shoto Tenkan, leading and enforce. Now, what is necessary to that is that both hands are active. The one hand is asleep and the other one active. Sleep and active. That's the worst part. One is asleep, the other one is active. And suddenly this one remembers, oh, I have to wake up, and then the other one wants to sleep. Sleep and active. Sleep and active. No, both active. Just changing roles within that activity. Okay, so if you are by yourself, similar idea. Just try to visualize that. Okay, one hand leading, the other hand comes and enforces. One hand leads, the other one comes and enforces. One hand leads, the other one enforces. Careful to not enforce too early. Okay, careful to not enforce too early. That's just something that just can happen. I'm leading. I'm going to force here. No. Maybe we need to lead a little bit more and then enforce. Okay, make sure to lead enough and then secure and enforce the movement. Lead enough and then secure or enforce the movement. Okay, so please practice with those two ideas for a little bit. Thanks. lead me, make sure that you lead me before you turn. Because if you turn before you lead me, then I am for a split second, not so much the pulling, a split second, you are right behind me. At that point, yeah, that's right. So that's because there is no, so here, so try to be careful to lead, lead. So careful, lead more. So you're never in an disadvantageous position in relation to me. So lead. Use your arm, but also, sorry, thumb. Right with the thumb. Right with the thumb. There you go. Look at the Sabaki joint. Again. Right with the thumb. Right with the thumb. Right. Yeah, so it's slightly different if we just do this. We do using the Sabaki. Okay, so next one, thank you. So next one is Shihonage, which is a classic technique where both hands still perform the same role, but we make a very easy mistake. So we know, yeah, it's active, no problem. This hand is going to come at some point and secure. This hand is going to come at some point and secure the hand. The problem is that when this hand secures, sometimes this hand goes to sleep. So the leading hand suddenly goes to sleep as soon as the securing hand or controlling hand joins in. Then that's a big mistake. So the idea is secure, continue alive, enter. Okay, and for the moment we're going to leave it to the point of the Chigotai. We have mat sides. So stop, push. So side. Enter, make sure that once you secure the hand, the other hand, the leading hand is still awake. Okay? It's awake. Enter. Okay. So for the moment, if you don't have a partner, you can do the full Shihonage movement, which is probably a good idea. So omote, shinsokarai, your heart out. Okay. That hand is going to lead. The second hand is going to secure. Okay. Once the hand secure, make sure that this one doesn't go to sleep. Step forward, pivot and step, and cut. Okay, so you can do the full cut by yourself. No, we're not doing that here. Okay, so once again, lead, secure, step, pivot and step, cut. Okay. The important thing at the moment is to remind yourself, one hand is leading, the other one is securing. And when this one secures, this one doesn't go to sleep. Okay? This one keeps leading, keeps being awake, and keeps moving in that form. Okay, so that's important. So, Sukarai, lead, secure, step, side, lead, secure, step, pivot, step. Okay. Keep your both hands awake. Okay. Uchikenkai, step, step. Okay, so once again, one hand leading, one securing or enforcing. Make sure that each know which one is doing, and make sure that they both remain active for the majority of time. Ilka, please. Lower your hips. Lower your hips. Lower your hips. Lower hips. Ooh, leading. There you go. Feels straight away when the leading hand goes to sleep. And then straight away, something disconnects. Go, lead, lead. Yeah, then lead. Lead. Not leading. So you can see, you can feel it, not leading. Moving my body, but not leading. 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 I wasn't leading. Yeah, but it's just important to know when the hand, when the arm is actually awake and leading with the rest of the body, and when it goes to sleep, feels free straight away. All right, let's finish up. Let's finish up. All right, so breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Hey, fix your Kogi. And switch. Hey. Arigato gozaimashita. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. We don't see each other. There is class tomorrow at the dojo. If we don't see each other, have a very Merry Christmas. Next week, all the classes are as usual between Christmas and New Year. So all the general classes are as usual. Hope to see you on the mat. Otherwise, we will have another online class next Friday. But yeah, classes as usual tomorrow, Christmas, next week, until the New Year. If I see you on the mat, I'll be very happy. If not, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.